Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs. I'm Sue, and you've just stepped into Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. Every week, I'll introduce you to a friend of mine, a remarkable entrepreneur who's not just changing the world, but also harnessing a secret weapon, time outdoors. Together, we'll dive into their journey, unpack invaluable business advice, and discover why embracing the wild is not just good for the soul, but also a goldmine for inspiration and innovation. Ready to uncover the secret that's boosting bottom lines and fueling joy? Hit subscribe and join us in the wild. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. I got a question for you. Ever feel like you're tired? You've tried like everything and you still don't feel like yourself? Well, today's guest is Kelly Stoner, and she helps women who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, of course, literally though. And if your energy is drained, your gut is off, your hormones are doing gymnastics or something in there, she's here with a personalized plan that's rooted in science and sunshine. How about that? Kelly's holistic approach basically focuses on healing gut health, balancing hormones, reducing toxic load so that women can finally reduce the stress, drop their inflammation, maybe their weight, who knows, and feel good in their own body again. Her favorite part? Knowing that her clients not only heal themselves, but create foundations for generational health in their family that ripples through, which is really cool. We all talk about generational wealth, but generational health is at least as important, maybe more. So Kelly makes health practical, powerful, and possible, starting with very simple habits like stepping outside, soaking up the sun. This is going to be a lovely conversation with Kelly. I'm really glad you're here, Kelly. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Sue. You gave me chills.
I love it. I love it when I do that. Mission accomplished with the intro then.
Yes, absolutely.
Sweet. Well, let's dive in a little bit deeper. We talk a little bit more about the people that you're serving and the problem that you're helping them solve.
Okay. Well, basically, I mean, your description of it was perfect. Because what I do is I help women, especially. I mean, that's my typical demographic. If a man comes to me or a child comes to me, I will, of course, be like, yeah, let's see if we can make this work. There is that interview process, but I'm not stuck on women only. I chose women basically just because I'm a woman. And so that's the experience that I have.
It makes sense.
So, but I help those women that have those symptoms of hormone imbalance, inflammation, that one's a huge one. With a personalized holistic plan that does incorporate those gut balancing things, or gut promoting and gut supporting, because that leads to the inflammation, that leads to the hormonal imbalances. Okay. And yes, I do have a passion for that generational health, that training, because it's something that we've lost.
Oh yeah.
It's been lost.
Yeah, for sure. I love that so much because this can make such an impact, the ripple effect of the work that you do.
Yes.
Like incredible, the people you're actually working with. And then if they're parents, this is stuff they're going to change in their household. Their children are going to benefit. Those kids are going to grow up knowing this stuff and pass it on to this is really cool. It could be 7 generations of, healthier families because of the work that you're doing.
Exactly. We could do away with those hereditary things that are handed down if we start the process of generational health.
Oh, that's amazing. Pharmaceutical companies are not going to like this.
No, not at all, because they approach things from a completely different way. They approach of, you have this one issue. I mean, if you look at our medical system, we have all these ologies, dermatology, cardiology, gastroenterology. I mean, and it goes on and on and on and on.
Oh yeah.
And because everybody in the medical facility or in the medical industry is specialized. And that's also then why we have the pharmaceutical issues, especially with our older generations of, seeing 3 or 4 different doctors, and they all are on putting them on certain medications, and they're not communicating with each other. So this medication, this pharmaceutical causes this issue with which this doctor then prescribes this for.
Yeah.
And if I can help to eliminate or avoid some of that,
Yeah.
my parents are getting older, and so it's a combination of things that have really led me to that generational health.
I love that. It is so important. You're the first person that I've ever heard use those two words together, generational health. And I agree. Like some of my relatives who are, a little bit older, they've, definitely seeing all the ologists that there are, getting, prescriptions from all of them. One of them ended up in serotonin syndrome, and nobody, who caught it? Her pharmacist
Oh,
was like,
well,
this is a lot of things with that. Are you, and thank goodness, because man, that'll mess you up.
yes, it does.
And it's like nobody, how is it that so many professionals here are, looking at the same person's existence, not that they have the same chart, but there was no communication,
Yeah,
no checking, no even asking, what else are you on? It's like, what on earth?
right. Well, and the time, honestly, the time that they spend with a patient
Yeah. There's
is
no time to ask questions,
right. And they're so focused on that one specialization that they've done, that's it. And
Yeah.
honestly, in my opinion, some of the specializations from my experience aren't even they don't even have the knowledge that they need for their specialization.
Right. Oh yeah. No, it gets crazy. It really is like an industry at this point. And I love that, the things that you're teaching, you're not a physician, you're not any of these things, but that's wonderful because the things that you're helping your clients with are things that a normal person can understand and can do. If they've got your help, it's like, yeah, it's a little bit of navigating weird, don't know what this is, what's the gut, all this. There's a lot of education, I'm sure, but it's doable.
Well, and so many of them are simple,
Mhm.
effective, not expensive.
Nice.
I mean, but we just aren't even familiar with those things anymore because we've
Yeah.
gotten so far away from our biology, I guess,
Mhm.
and nature. We'll get into
Well,
that more later, I'm sure.
yeah.
But we need to get refocused back on what's important.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. I mean, there's, like somebody who's an expert in nutrition, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, that actually makes some sense. But all of these things where it's, you're not writing prescriptions. This is great. There's literally no downside to doing things like going outside occasionally, like drinking more water, like,
Right. That's right.
how did you get into this and interested in it?
Um, Honestly, it was my own, and this is such a normal, typical story for people. It was my own health issues, and honestly, through doing the certification program that I did, and I started researching, because of my own health issues, and then I was just like, I got this. I realized I'm like a research geek. I never realized that. I'm like, oh, well, what does that, what does this, And I homeschooled both of my boys. And through that, my youngest son he was born with a heart condition too, actually. And so with homeschooling and doctor's appointments, and I used all of that as education for him and for myself, but that's really how I got involved in it. And then I developed a passion for it. I was listening to somebody else's podcast several years ago. I think it was probably 2018. No, it was after, maybe it was after 2020. It might have been 2020 or 2021. And I was listening to a podcast and it had the commercials, to help support the podcast. And it was for the certification program. And I had been seeing a functional medicine doctor for probably 4 to 5 years prior to that.
Wow.
And I was paying out lots of
Oh
money,
yeah. Oh yeah.
And really wasn't finding that I was experiencing the benefits that I felt I should have been after that many years and that much money. And I think at that point too, both of my sons, they were younger, they were still living at home, and they had started going. So we were paying for the three of us.
Whew,
and I
pricey.
said to my husband when I was just like, what am I doing?
Mm.
I got into this short term, really long after you asked the question, because I wanted to be for somebody else what I needed at the time.
Yes.
And couldn't find.
This is why I love entrepreneurs. I love this. Like, you had a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't cause the problem. You were dedicated to finding a solution for that problem, and you did. And now you're providing that for other people. That's what entrepreneurs are. I mean, that is a wonderful, beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
What is it like now? So I would imagine, people are probably experiencing gastro issues, the inflammation type things. They may not know that that's causing the other things that they're dealing with, but they're probably plagued with something just not feeling right when they come to you.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like for them to, what's the intake? Like, do you have a long questionnaire? Like, how does, I've never worked with somebody like you. What is it like?
I do. First of all, I do like a free consult call.
Yep.
An introductory call. Let me get to know you. You get to know me. See if we'd be a good fit to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do find that some people are not willing to do the work.
Right.
Which is counterproductive for them.
Yeah.
But also for me.
Well, sure. Frustrating too.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the first step. And then once there's an agreement, there's the red tape. We got to have you sign these things, we get that out of the way. And then, I do a health history. I have to be careful because I'm not a doctor, what words I can use. So I take a history of what they're dealing with so that I can develop a protocol or a program that helps to support them. We go through the SMART system of setting goals. Is if you don't have a goal and you don't know why you're doing this, in all likelihood, you're not going to follow through and be successful. And I want people to be successful.
Well, yeah, of course.
I do charge a fee, of course. This is my business, but I'm not in this to get rich. I was that person that felt at one point like I was padding somebody else's pocket. I never want to be that person.
Right.
For anybody.
Yeah.
That's not my goal. And the other thing is if traditional medicine had maybe given the person the opportunity to do what I do, then they wouldn't maybe need me.
Right. Yeah, they might. It's not like people are like, oh, I'm not feeling great. First thing I'm going to like a natural type of provider. The first thing we do typically is I'm going to my primary care physician. I'm getting referrals. I'm like, whoa, slow down. You're like, that is, you're setting your course by what you do first. Oh man, that's wild. What are some of the typical, I'm imagining that there are some commonalities between, all right, you've got this going on, you've got that going on, you've got this. There may be easy, simple processes or additions or subtractions from our life, our diet and all this, what are some simple things that you see across the board typically would help somebody?
Oh my word. First, getting back in nature.
Mm.
There are so
I did not pay her to say that.
no, she didn't. No. But nature, our creator, I'm a faith-based coach. And so I approach things in my life and in my business from that perspective. And our creator created us and created the world around us to be supportive of each other. And that's what I meant whenever I said we've gotten so far away from those historic things, and I don't mean we need to go and live in a tent, year round, or you can if you'd like to. You did that for a while.
A little bit.
But I would venture to guess that you notice benefits to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But just getting out in nature. There are so many of our symptoms that we experience that have a counter benefit that we can find in nature. You and I had the online conversation on one of your posts about, the example was poison ivy and jewelweed. They grow right next to each other.
Yeah.
Poison ivy is the one that causes the problem.
Right.
For most people. Jewelweed can be a soothing fix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's just one example. But dysregulated sleep.
Yeah.
Reset your circadian rhythms by getting out in the sun in the morning, and then after the sunset, even inside, turn your lights down, eliminate blue light, those things, your gastro issues, your gut issues, there are herbals that are healing to that. And there are processed foods that are causing it.
Yeah.
So it's, and that, those are not costly things necessarily.
Right.
A lot of people have eye sensitivity to bright light.
Mm.
And if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain that light sensitivity can be caused from low vitamin D.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So,
I think I've heard that too. Yeah.
What's the antidote to light sensitivity then? Go out in the light without your glasses, contacts, or sunglasses, because all of those are a barrier and cause, less of the benefit to us. So if you can, get your face, get the sunlight in your eyes. Doesn't cost you a thing.
Exactly.
Other than if it's like 15 degrees out, you might be a little cold.
Still, that's why God made clothes that are nice and warm.
Well, right. So just those are just doesn't cost a thing.
Right. Yeah. It's incredible seeing that, all the things that we can buy to feel better, like, the sad lamp, the grounding mat, all these kinds of things. It's like there are approximations of things that you can get absolutely free. Just go outside a little bit.
Exactly.
Man, have you always been somebody who spent a lot of time outdoors?
Yeah, especially as a kid. You and I are approximately the same age. We were the generation of, it was a see ya.
Yeah, right.
And we
Come
were
back when
out
it's dark.
And we were out running in our bare feet,
Yep.
getting thistles.
Oh yeah.
Feet.
Oh.
That's just what we did. And then we were called in for dinner, which was, in the summer was a little later or a little earlier than sunset.
Right.
But, I can remember even as a kid, if I wasn't out running and playing soccer or climbing trees,
Mm-hmm.
my neighbor and I would climb the trees from the elderly neighbor. We always asked permission. She had
Oh,
a cherry tree, and we'd
ooh,
climb that tree and eat the cherries.
so
But
great.
even if I wasn't doing that, I was on the porch. We were playing card games on the porch. We
Yeah.
were outside. I can remember my
Yes.
parents going, "You need to get outside." I was probably driving them crazy.
I know. I'm thinking like, who is this actually for? Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But
It's so
so, I
crazy.
mean, so yeah. And I grew up, vacation was camping, and a lot of times it was in a tent. Or, once a year we would go to a summer vacation at the beach. And then my father was a pastor, so the fall was always very busy with Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so between Christmas and New Year's, we rented an amazing hunting cabin,
Oh, nice.
and the big giant fireplace, the porta john outside. It was
Oh,
an
yeah.
outhouse, I mean, and we spent a week there, and we'd hike. We had no running water. We did have electricity, but you had to go out and get your water, break the ice on the stream, pull it in. I
Wow.
mean, and those are some of the best vacation memories I have.
That's the thing. And at the time, you're probably like, this stinks, or some measure of it, at least as a teen, because I know you're like, oh,
Yeah, well, yeah, I honestly, I remember really enjoying it because we
that's
had that
great.
big roaring fireplace, and I was able to then just lay on the couch in front of the fireplace and read a book. And I was
Nice.
always a reader, so
Yeah,
it was like wonderful to me. At
that
least
does
I
sound pretty
remember it
awesome.
that way.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. It's so funny. It's so great. And then did that change some, when you became an adult? Did you find yourself indoors more?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my first job that I had was at a daycare center. So I did get outside more because, we'd take the kids out before nap, after nap, and all of that. And that was great. But then my first office job, you know, was in an office.
Yeah.
So, and you go and you arrive at 8 and you work until 5. I did have a lady that we would walk. I worked in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we would walk across the bridge at lunchtime. And that was good. But yeah, I think we think as we get older and we have these jobs that this is now what's expected.
Hmm.
And and life gets busy, you
Oh, yeah.
know. Before I had kids, we had a dog, and I walked that dog 3 miles pretty much every day. So that
Oh, wow.
got me out too.
Yeah.
Um, but that was for him. I
Right.
wasn't even approaching it from, I need to get outside. Like my parents used to tell me, you need to get
Yeah.
outside. Um, but yeah, I found myself just being, and there's so many things inside to entertain us
Oh,
now,
yeah. Right, right.
that
Exactly. And
we,
especially now, people working and living, working from home, it's like, all right, very easy. I went 17 years. I didn't go out much, like I was either working or taking care of family inside or, watching TV or sleeping or whatever. It was all indoors all the time.
yeah.
I think, when did it change for you where you started having more time, like as an adult, going back to, I want that time outside?
I think honestly, homeschooling the kids
Oh,
was
yeah.
a huge influence on that. Um, we we had a play set, and we had alpacas.
Oh, I forgot
Yeah.
about, yeah.
And in the spring, we always had babies that were due in the spring. And I can remember we would take the sleeping bags out, and we would sleep on. I mean, an extremely large play set, really, honestly.
Yeah.
And it had 2 levels. The bottom ground level was the sandbox, and then the top was play area, whatever. And the 4 of us would take our sleeping bags out and we'd sleep. Did have a roof, But then we were able to get up in the morning and say, oh, okay, did we have any babies born? Or we could watch them be born,
Oh my
you
gosh.
know? So, and then having the kids and the opportunity that we were able, thankfully, to provide them. We live on 17 acres. Was just, I am so grateful to the Lord for that, because we would be a completely different family
Sure.
if we were not located where we are, and if we had not made the choices to raise them and do the things that we did.
Yeah.
So the kids were a big, and homeschooling them was huge.
Sure.
Yeah.
What a great, I'm just like, I'm so jealous of your kids' upbringing. Like, that is so cool. Like, and I think you had Highland cattle too, right?
We did,
All
yes.
right. You have two of my favorite. Did you also have sheep? Because that would be the trifecta. Okay.
No,
Well,
we had chickens and guineas.
all right. Nice. Yeah. That's so cool. I can't even imagine a better childhood, from having parents that love them. They're encouraged to be outside. Most homeschoolers, it's like they're learning, but also in the frame of, here's things I'm interested in, mom, and I want to read about this, not that,
Right.
that type of thing. And then the animals, like, there's something special about learning to care for animals that I think that really builds some character.
Yes. And the opportunities of having, especially my youngest was 2 or 2.5 when we got the alpacas. So my oldest would have been 4.5 or 5.
Wow.
And then of course, you raise them for their fiber.
Yeah.
And so they were involved from the very beginning. And then as they got older, they had the opportunity to join the 4-H Fiber Club.
Oh, neat.
Which was like minutes from our house. And so my boys did things that typical boys don't do. Like my youngest learned to spin the wool, and he could do it to this day. He could put beads on there and make this wonderful yarn.
Wow.
And my oldest son was the weaver, the fleece to shawl team that competed at the Pennsylvania Farm Show.
That's incredible.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I always look, it'll sound crazy, but I'm always like, all right, if there's a zombie apocalypse, what skills do you have, right? Like, and those are great. You're gonna need clothes. You gotta have somebody who can work with fiber. You're gonna have to have something to get the fiber from. Like, so
Yeah.
livestock farmers, like, these are very important skills. And I think back in the day, like, many people had these skills, and now it's very unusual. Like you were saying, boys typically they're not knitting and spinning and weaving and all that kind of stuff. Back then, I think they were, it was everybody, all hands on deck making stuff.
I think mostly it was men traditionally that were tailors.
Yeah.
And weavers and so on. Because my oldest son at 9 years old, at the 4-H, he had always had an interest in learning how to sew.
Wow, that's cool.
And I can like hand stitch something. And so there was a lady there that was part of that group that stood up and said, hey, anybody that wants to learn how to sew? And my son looked at me and I'm like, yes. So from the time he was 9 to the time he was 14, he sewed.
That's amazing.
And those aren't skills you lose.
No. And they go, like, this is so cool. I remember at one point realizing, because I had taken up quilting years and years ago, and I was like, this is interesting. Oh, and also knitting. And I was like, knitting is like, I'm making the fabric to go sew. And then realizing, wait a second, that's the same thing as construction in a sense. Like construction and sewing, it's like you're just joining things together. I mean, granted, it's got to have some engineering, got to be able to support weight and all this kind of stuff. But I'm like, it's the same principles. Sometimes you're making the material and sometimes you're just joining it together.
Yeah.
It's really cool, I think.
And then those things together give you so many opportunities for other things.
Yes. You can create anything,
Yes.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Gotta have the idea.
Yeah, you have to have the idea, All right, so now I know you're a grandma. You've got one sweet little favorite granddaughter. So sweet. So are your kids like continuing to spend time outside, and do you think they'll pass that on?
Um, yes, I think they will. I mean, they're both in the trades.
Mhm.
And my oldest son is 26. He worked as a diesel technician
Mhm.
in a shop for 6 years.
Mhm.
But my husband's brother owns a creamery just
Oh,
down the
neat.
road, and he has sort of I forget what the word is, but he worked part-time there.
Okay, yeah.
And then last year they offered him the opportunity to become their fleet manager, because they actually do, like, they went back to milk deliveries. So they
Wow.
do, you remember those
Oh
days?
yeah, milkman would come and like
Milk
right on
box.
your yeah, the little
Yes,
metal box and the yeah.
yes.
Oh,
And
that's
so
amazing.
he works as their fleet manager. So he's still keeping that mechanic side of things.
Yeah.
And then he'll do some deliveries, but and then he loves the farm life,
That's so
you know.
cool.
So yeah, he's continuing to do that. He married a wonderful young woman. I am so blessed with my daughter-in-laws, that was in the horse reining industry.
Oh wow.
So she was always outside. So I can't see them unless, God forbid, something horrible happen that they are
Right.
not able to, be
Yeah.
outside. I don't think that not being outside would be an option for them very much.
Cool. Well, the
Um,
habit stuck then, which is
yes,
great.
yes. And my youngest son, he works in a shop, but he also has a wood, like firewood business.
Okay.
And if he's not working in the shop, he's here doing that. So
Nice.
yeah,
Oh, that's great. I love that. And I mean, that's one hint that the generational health thing has stuck, which is really cool. We can build this into our families.
yes, yes. They have to choose it.
Well, yeah.
They have to choose it. There are certain things that mom is not able to convince my youngest son of,
Mhm.
especially, but he has to figure those things out. And if and when he's ready to go, oh, maybe I
Yeah.
should listen a little bit more. He's still young. He's 23.
Oh, yeah.
But that has to be up to him.
Oh, yeah. It's so cool. That's another thing, being the parent of older kids. It's like all of a sudden you go from, oh, she doesn't know anything to, she's really smart. Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all you young parents out there, or no, actually, when they're very young, you're brilliant.
Yeah. And then
Then
it's like a
15, 20 years or so where not so smart. Right?
yeah, exactly. But they'll get there.
They get there. Everybody gets there. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Well, Kelly, where can people find out more about working with you and what's involved and how to get started and all that?
I do have a website. It's www.healthypioneer.com. I am not overly active on social media. I'm more of the in person, but they can find me at Kelly G Stoner on Facebook and Instagram, and then I also have a Healthy Pioneer Facebook and Instagram account
Oh,
too.
that's
But
great.
I'm more active on the personal Kelly G Stoner.
Gotcha. That's so great. Well, thank you so much for being my guest. I love the work that you're doing. I just feel like it's so important for, individuals when it spreads to family and it spreads to generations, just having that message of, there are natural ways to feel better and to build that into our everyday life. That's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.